Hello, fellow Gwent players. If you didn't know, today CDPR published a little news update, or whatever you want to call it, which addresses the arena change that is going to come up. And I just wanted to discuss this real quick. I already read through it once, but I'll also read it again for you guys so we are on the same page here. And I'll give my opinions, my suggestions, and my wishes that I want to see with this new arena change. And yeah, let's just read the article and see what they have to say. Hello everyone. Today is the day we start talking about the future of arena mode in Gwent. While we are very excited to get into the nitty-gritty details of what is coming your way, there is one piece of house cleaning we need to prepare you for. What we want to do with Arena is so fundamentally significant that we decided it is best to rebrand and start fresh. What this essentially means is that we will be saying goodbye to Arena in order to eventually say hello to Draft Mode. Now this is already big, like this is the first thing they say, and it's basically saying that Arena is getting a complete rework. It's not going to be the same at all. I mean, that was always going to be the thing, like it was always going to be something completely different, and the fact that they're changing it to Draft Mode gives you a bit of a sort of idea what they want to go for. And that's where I can start talking about things that I might expect that I want to happen with this Draft Mode. So what I expect is basically they're going to be either like dual faction or single faction drafts, is where you pick a faction at the start and from there on you can build your deck with that in mind. Now, if that's a good idea, I'm not sure. It seems a bit busted, and especially dependent on how many golds and bronzes you get. And maybe that is also predetermined as to what sort of quality bronzes or golds or like rarity epics, legendaries, common rares you get. That might be predetermined. I will hope it's predetermined, because otherwise it might create some balance issues with the draft mode. As for dual faction, I really would like the idea of being able to combine two factions in this draft mode and sort of give the card pool a bit of spice, basically. The idea of combining factions is something that I really enjoyed in Legends of Runeterra, but I feel like that game has flaws in itself, or just things that I just don't like about the game. For example, how draw dependent it is and how dependent on like the mana curve everything is. And the way you have to deck build is like, it's kind of predetermined everything, sort of. You just pick the best sort of 1 mana cards, 2 mana cards that work with the idea that you're trying to go with. And it doesn't really offer that. I mean, it offers much room for spice, but I just wasn't good enough in that game, I'd say. I mean, I haven't played it enough as well to sort of determine that. But yeah, for Gwent, being able to sort of draft dual faction decks, something like combining Scoia'tael and Nilfgaard, Scoia'tael and Northern Realms, which would seem kind of awkward, but you can do a lot of crazy things with those ideas. And I would actually really love to see something like this. And basically, like, the way the draft or like the expedition in something like Legends of Runeterra works is that you're given a choice of like 3 cards from that archetype, 3 cards from that archetype, and 3 cards from that archetype from certain factions, from 2 factions basically. Say like you're getting like one part is like Nilfgaard spies, the others is like Northern Realms soldiers, and the other one's like Nilfgaard aristocrat, and you would have to pick the one that fits sort of the idea that you're going for, which would honestly seem pretty exciting to me. Now, I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it, but I am definitely excited to see what they are going to do with it, since they did announce this change to Arena at the start of the year, and it is now like basically the end of September already, and this is the only sort of news that we've gotten for this change. And yeah, let's just keep reading what they're going to say about this change. To make the launch of this new mode a smooth and exciting experience for everyone, we need to prepare and make room for it. With all this in mind, we will be closing the current arena on October 13th. We want to give you all the possibility to play a few more runs or completing an existing one. This will also be your last opportunity to finish those arena contracts you have been playing towards. Of course, we will also remind you again once we are getting closer to the date. So they want to close down Arena on October 13th. Now, what does that mean? Are they going to give us a beta for the draft mode after that? Or are they just going to close it down on October 13th to sort of experiments by themselves? It makes very little sense. The date is really weird that it's like so like it's really weird that it's put so in the middle of a season. Like October 13th, there's not going to be any balance patches or any updates during that time. Maybe they'll add a beta version of the draft mode during that time. That would be pretty interesting. If not, I don't see the point of them removing it halfway through a season. I mean, why not just remove it when the season's over, when there's a new update and when things can progress? So that's kind of weird. But you never know what the reasoning behind these decisions is. Maybe it just works perfectly with their schedule and how they want to do things. So yeah, I mean, there's nothing else. I feel like it's kind of weird closing it down fully. And I mean, they're telling you to basically start playing Arena if you want to complete all the contracts. So yeah, let's keep reading here. We currently aim to release an open beta of our new draft mode before the end of the year, but please bear with us if we fail to meet this deadline. We are working really hard to get this up and running as soon as possible, but would rather wait than release something fundamentally broken. You can expect more details from us regarding our vision of draft mode in the near future. Okay, so maybe I should have kept reading after the second paragraph, because they're basically saying that it's going to be shut down on October 13th, and then it might come out like 3 months later or something like that, which would be kind of scary, honestly. Like, Arena isn't the greatest or most played mode, but deleting the game mode completely for like a whole 2 months, I'm not sure if that's the best sort of decision. Like, I don't understand that decision. It makes very little sense, or like why they have to do it. I guess they have to open up space for the game or something. It boggles my mind a little bit, but you never know what the executive decisions are based on, so you have to obviously bear with them. They also say that we should bear with them, and yeah, let's just keep reading here. This probably brings a few questions with it, so we want to address the most prominent ones straight away. What will happen to my unfinished arena run? We will grant 150 ore to players with unfinished arena runs. What will happen to mirror shards? Once we close the arena, we will grant 150 ore for every mirror shard left in your inventory. What will happen to arena contracts? Unfinished contracts related to arena will be hidden and won't affect overall contract progression. Players who completed them earlier will be able to see them. This should give you a good overview of the situation, and we can't wait to get your feedback and engage in discussions that have the real possibility to shape the future of this mode. If you have any questions on any of the above mentioned topics, let us know on our usual channels. Stay safe and good luck in your games. So yeah, that's pretty much all they had to say. It's not a lot that they said. They just told us that they're doing something, basically, and that they're shutting down Arena on October 13th. Now, as I said, I don't know why they're shutting it down at this exact date. Maybe they're basically just saying, okay, we're going to release it on like October 14th, the beta, and just make you think that it's going to happen later. Or maybe it will actually just release in 2021. That could also be the case here. So yeah, I'm actually really curious to see what further news we will be getting for the draft mode. I wonder if Gaunter will be the same sort of icon of the whole thing. Maybe they'll change it a little bit. Maybe they make a different sort of main character for the whole thing. And as for the draft mode, I mean, the way Arena is currently, like, they have to like fundamentally change something, because like Arena, a lot of the times it just came down to how many bronzes and golds you had and how good that ratio was, and based on that you're basically gonna have a better time. And it was, I think, a bit too RNG heavy, like just getting a poll out of 7 factions, because neutral is also a faction obviously, is quite a big pool. It was always going to be hard to find like the best possible combos. Things like Joanna and Freak Show were obviously a bit funny. It was something that people would just look for at times. But also things like scenarios were a bit iffy at times. Like, people would get like 2 scenarios and have like 2 triggers and literally just win games off of that. And that could actually even be more scary in something like draft mode, where the possibilities of cards might be more limited. I do hope that in this draft mode, there is sort of a progression system within the draft mode. Say you win one game and you can sort of choose additional cards for your deck, or like get more golds. And the further you get along, the more golds you're getting with the draft mode, and the more sort of synergies you can create, or like better cards or more interesting decks you can make with that. But I do feel that they do have to very much limit the sort of card pool for the choices in draft mode. And that's definitely something that they will probably do. I hope they do it, because if they still go with the format of every faction is a choice, like every faction is just basically it's a free-for-all, we can just do whatever you want, I feel that's a bit flawed. It works for the original Arena, and I honestly didn't want them to remove Arena. Like, Arena is not the greatest game mode, but it's definitely not the worst game mode. Like, they could have still fixed Arena where you have a set amount of golds and a set amount of bronzes that you get, and that would make the mode just more interesting in general. And adding a draft mode to the already existing Arena would give the players, you know, more playability. Like, why wouldn't you want more game modes in the game, right? Like, to me, it doesn't really make sense to remove Arena entirely. I think that's a bit of a weird decision. I mean, I knew they were reworking it. I just kind of was hoping for old Arena to still exist in a certain form. Maybe that's just nostalgia speaking, but I do have some fun memories of Arena and the way it was. And I think you guys as well, the viewers, have your memories of good old times with the Arena mode. And another thing that I really, really want for draft is for it to sort of have a competitive edge as well. Not just to be like this fun mode that exists, but for it to also have like, you know, an actual reason to play it, not just, you know, to spend some scrap or spend some shards or whatever. Or as I said earlier, just to have this sort of progression feeling that for every win you get, you get better cards and you get better like synergies, or you can choose like one random card out of the entire card pool or something just to spice your deck up a bit more, or to just make it more competitive in the mode, or just like being able to replace certain cards that you don't feel are necessary in the deck or something like that. That would definitely feel kind of cool. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all there needs to be said about this. There's not much that they gave us to work with realistically. I still wanted to talk about it because it is something that is quite big and significant for the game itself, since it's a whole new game mode that we're getting in the future. I just hope we're getting it this year still. I really don't want to wait till 2021 for this to come out. I want to play it this year still and create some videos with it, I guess. And I might even do some sort of last days of Arena videos if they're shutting it down completely, which they are definitely going to do at this point. So yeah, we might see some Arena videos in the future as well, just trying to, you know, mess up the system. Especially now that all the leaders have been reworked, it seems like something that I might want to do as well. Just, you know, one last hooray for the Arena mode. And yeah, that was my small, tiny little discussion about the new Arena article published on Play Gwent. If you want to read it yourself, you can obviously check the link in the description. I will link the article for you guys to read as well if you want to read it at your own pace. I know this isn't like the grandest video of all time or like the most amazing video. It's kind of low effort, to be honest, but I hope you still enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe for more Gwent content, and I'll see you soon.